I remembered to turn the countdown video back on. It's so much fun because nobody can hear us talking when the countdown video is going. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. How's everybody doing today? Hello, Brooke.
Hi, sorry, I was already reading the comments. I was distracted for a moment. I was trying to check out all the pieces.
We've had an early start today.
I know.
We're let me choose that thing. How's everybody doing today? Who out there in YouTube land is using Dabble 3? Everyone should have had an opportunity to get around and poke around a little bit. How's everybody liking it? Hello, NJ. Hello, Angel. Hello, Rob. Hello, LC. Hello, Ashley. And everything's scrolling by too fast. So glad to have all of you here with us today. It's been a great day so far. We rolled out Dabble 3 this morning with very few hiccups. And I think a couple of the hiccups that we had were kind of expected. You know, when you roll out a piece of software that is used by so many different people on so many different platforms and systems, you're always going to have the little outlier problems. But our fabulous dev team just came into action and solved those pretty quickly, and have been doing that all day. And I lost sleep for nothing today.
I know. But you know what? I feel like if we lose sleep and we are worried about it, then it's more likely that nothing will happen. But as soon as we are overly confident and we're like, it's going to be amazing, everything will blow up.
Exactly. I hate that Abby was not here this week to share in the joy of launching 3.0 with us. This trip that Abby is on right now, I think she said has been booked for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the luck of the draw. But she's been texting Brooke and I all morning.
Yeah.
So you can't keep a good man down. But
yes. Hey, Katie, I saw a couple of your question up above before this one. I believe there's a way for you to do it where you could have like the notes and stuff side by side. We might get into that today, but send us a message and we can show you how to do that. So that's something that I think Hank has showed us, maybe just the team itself, but also Doug as well.
Yeah. Katie said that I used Dabble 3 this morning for my writing. Love the new session timer feature. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people that are loving the session timer. That's and we'll show that in a minute. But for today's workshop, and those of you who are regular attendees know that every other Monday we do a writing workshop where we tackle some new feature or some new I'm grasping for words today, some new element of the story craft process, and we break it down and show you kind of how to apply these sometimes kind of nebulous concepts to your writing. Well, since today is Dabble 3 launch day, we thought that it would be pertinent to start with a brand new project and just show you how to set things up in Dabble 3. And so I threw together some notes for a fictional book. Who am I kidding? All of the novels that I write are fictional, but this is not a real novel. I don't think. Maybe it'll turn out to be something amazing and just need to be written. But we're gonna start a brand new project, and I'm gonna show you how I go about it, and we're going to we want you to go along the ride with us and give us your questions and comments, because one reason that I wanted to do it this way today is so that we could pivot and answer your questions and kind of have an interactive experience is what I'm trying to say. So Brooke was kind enough to join me today, and she's gonna be monitoring the chat while I'm on this screen doing stuff, and then Brooke can can tell me, stop, Hank, we have a, do that again, or, whatever. So we just ask that y'all join us today and join in the conversation. And if you have questions or comments, throw them out here, and we're gonna tackle it live together. So anyway, any questions or comments or anything from your perspective today, Brooke?
Well, I will tell everybody here that I have been a little bit spoiled because I have been a marketer for, I don't want to say how many years, but a while. And when I came on to Dabble, once I started like getting into the projects and with first novel problems, I have only ever used 3.0.
Lucky you.
So that's been coming, like, that's why I've been reaching out to like you and Doug so much. I was like, hasn't it always done this? Like, might not be the best person to ask, but I don't necessarily have any questions to start with.
All right.
But I wanted to add that little caveat. So.
Gotcha. I've got a notes document that I'm going to put up on my screen so that I can see it. I'm just positioning a couple of things here in the background. It has nothing to do with you guys, but just getting some things together so that I can see it. Okay, so I have a book idea. Let me share my screen. I should probably do that.
And really quickly, I know there was a comment about from Dale about it won't let me print my chapter directly. If you guys see me looking over to the side, it is because I'm literally talking to our dev team. Just because I know that there are some things that are still popping up. So, and also if you guys do have specific questions, I'm going to post the email here. The quickest way to get like a resolution is to email support. We are a small team, like a very small team. So you can email this email address directly, and then that will go straight to the team and we can get it done. But Dale, I do have the question out about printing directly a chapter from Dabble, and I'll let you know. So
excellent. Yeah. Support@dabblewriter.com is your friend. It's actually a team of friends, but
yes.
And yet to be such a small team, we consistently get feedback about how helpful our support is, how quickly we get right to people's problems. You actually talk to a human, and yeah, our devs pop into our live streams all the time. They're active in the Dabble community all the time, and so when you pop over there and you post something, oh, I'm having trouble with this, a lot of times you'll get one of our devs chime in, answer your question, or say, oh, thank you for highlighting that. That's something we need to look at. You get actual human interaction.
Yeah, well, you don't get a robot. It's all us. So right. I know I was talking to a couple people this morning on Instagram, and they're like, wait, real Brooke? Like, I was like, yep, it's me. It is me responding to you. So I am absolutely here. So yeah.
Love it. All right. I'm going to share my screen, and here is my Dabble screen. And you can see that if you click on the top right of your screen, there's a question mark in a circle that says help. If you click there, you can get to the support shortcuts as well. We kind of showed this off this morning, how you set your themes, your global themes, and we'll also get into how you can set project specific themes. But I really like this, if you go to preferences, I really like the dark lilac. It's vibing with me right now. And I reserve the right to change that at any moment, but that's what I'm liking right now. So that's kind of my global theme to start with. But you can change it to light or dark or auto. And if your when it's set to auto, if your system is set to light themes, it's going to default to light themes. If your system is set to a dark theme, it's going to default to dark themes. So it follows your system theme. But I like light, dark, so I'm going to stay with that. There's one thing before we create a new project, I do want to show you guys this because this is new. This ideas notebook on the side. If you click that, it starts with a kind of a blank idea notebook here, and then you can create a new one. You can either hit the create, or there's this. Sorry, this one I created earlier. Let me trash that. If you click the plus there, you can say new idea, and you can title this. Say I had an idea for a cozy mystery novel, and I have these random ideas, like have an idea for a librarian that is an amateur sleuth. And then you could just, dark hair, quiet, unassuming, whatever, that maybe you have an idea for the town or things that are specific to the library, or maybe you have an idea for plot or whatever. And you can just fill that out. And then when you feel like that you have collected enough ideas that you're like, okay, this is more than just ideas. This has the actual makings of a novel. Then you can click the three dots there and convert to project. And then you can give this a name and title it and all of that. And it takes those ideas, creates a new project, and puts that in the story notes. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to walk through creating the project a different way. But I just want to show you guys that is an option now, and the way this used to work, and I have done this, and I know so many other people have as well, is you get a story idea, and you would go and create a new Dabble project, and you'd go to the notes and just start kind of filling out things there. And then you get a different story idea tomorrow, so you go create a new Dabble project for that. And then some of those never have legs. They, it's nothing more than just a great idea. And so you wind up with all these kind of orphan Dabble projects that never were going to turn into anything. And the idea notebook prevents you from having all that wasted space and, cluttering up your dashboard with things that were parts of a good idea, but just didn't have what it takes to be a full book. So keep that in your story ideas. Then when it grows to the point of having enough for a book, convert that to a project and move on. So that's just another one of those little quality of life features that just makes using Dabble so much better. Because I would do that, and I have all these orphan Dabble projects, I finally created one Dabble project called the Idea Boneyard, and then I just created new story ideas under that in the binder, and that kind of took the place of my idea notebook. But now I'm converting all that over to my idea notebook, and so my dashboard is nice and, well, it's not nice and clean right now. There's lots of books there. But that's a project for another day. That's cleanup is not what you do right at launch. So anyway, I'm going to exit out of that and go back to the home screen, and we're going to go to create project. Now, the project name is the Larkspur Landing Mystery Series. And like I said, this is just an idea book that I came up with. And the first book in that is going to be Overdue for Murder. And it's a cozy mystery with a librarian protagonist, an amateur sleuth. So Overdue for Murder. Get it, everybody. librarians, everything's over there. Anyway, okay. Um, so, and the subtitle for that is going to be Larkspur Landing Mystery Series Book 1. Um, and the way you used to create projects in Dabble is you would give it a name and basically just launch right into page 1 and start writing. But now we've got this interim page where you set the title for your series, the title for your book. You can set cover art, and it feels like you're starting a book, not just opening a new page in a word processor. It's a subtle difference, but for me, I think that it really helps to solidify in your mind that you're writing a book now. This is a real thing. It's gonna you can choose from some of these contemporary cover images. You can set the accent colors, all that. But I actually have some cover art that I'm going to use, and I'm going to upload it there.
Well, that's awesome looking. I like that one. It even matches your theme selection, Hank.
Right. You know, it's like I put a little bit of thought into this. Not much, but a little bit.
Oh, I can see it. So really quickly,
Yes.
I have some questions about how to set up a series and how to do like if you have a book, how to add it to a series and stuff like that. I am actually talking with the team off screen. And so if you guys let us know, we can do a series of like how-to videos and post them here. And then we're kind of working through what that looks like. So I want you to, I'm working on your questions while Hank is going about it, but I think that might be kind of a good thing where we record the videos for you. Let us know what are some of those things that you want to see how to do, and then we can get those pulled together for you. Okay, so I'm seeing a yes, please.
And we also don't have any more live events scheduled this week because I kind of figured that as we did this, if a bunch of questions came in and we need to do another live stream tomorrow and address some of those, we could do that live. We can do some better produced videos like Brooke was talking about. We can, you know, whatever you guys need, we're here to help you. We want you guys to get up to speed as quickly as possible and writing your books. So yes.
Yeah. And I like the idea of us pre-recording them so that way like it's discoverable and it's easy for you guys to find them afterwards, because sometimes finding live videos are not easy and you can't see what's what. So
yes.
All right, so we will work on a how-to series and we can get that going for you. But go, sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we've got a project name, we've got our book name, we've got some cover art, and we're going to click Save and Open. And when we do that, it shows our cover art. And look at all the great puns in here. The fine print, some stories refuse to stay buried. You know, curiosity killed. That's funny. Anyway. So it goes ahead, it creates your cover or attaches your cover image, creates your title page, and then it drops you into chapter 1 where you can start writing your scene. But I'm going to come down here to my notebook, and it's got you default to a folder called World Building. I have a setting kind of roughly outlined. So I'm going to paste that in here. So under world building, I've got my setting there. And then let's see, I'm going to add a note, and I'm going to call this my synopsis. And I'm going to place my synopsis in here. So these are things that when I'm starting a new book project, I create these note files that will then inform. Uh, because if you and we've talked about the plotter, pantser spectrum, and that we love to put people firmly in one camp or the other, and I believe that people exist on the spectrum somewhere between those two. And so while I am pantser adjacent, for if the spectrum is 0 to 10, I'm probably and 0 is pantser and 10 is plotter. I'm probably a 5.5, somewhere there. Like there are things that I need to have nailed down before I start, but I also like to have the freedom to explore within that. So this is kind of how I put put plotter things down for my pantser brain, if you want to say it like that. So this synopsis: when head librarian Eleanor Nell Quill returns to her hometown to run the very library where she grew up, she expects overdue finds and story hour chaos, not a dead body in the reading garden on the eve of the library's 125th anniversary gala. The victim is Preston Vance, a slick developer who's been quietly pushing to seize the library's land for a lakeside resort. Half the town had a reason to want him gone, and the sheriff's easy answer points straight at Nell's oldest friend. So this just kind of gives me, a feel for the story and things to refer back to. And then I've got characters. So if you click on characters here, you've got two groups: main characters and supporting characters. My main character is, as we alluded to, whoops, gotta click on the edit. Her name is Nell Quill. She is our sleuth, and let's see. There we go. And then if you have an image, some people like to go out on, like to do a Google search and maybe describe a character and find someone that looks kind of like that. Or maybe they like to cast their book with celebrities so they kind of have a visual reference when they're writing. You can do that. I'm just going to search for librarian and just choose an image here and apply that. And let's say her accent color is whatever you call that color. Bam, there she is. And then any notes from character: she's a head librarian back home after divorce and burned out city library career, observant, dry-witted, allergic to leave it to the professional, organizes clues like a card catalog. Okay, so there's our first character. We can then add another character, and it's going to pop up here. And this is going to be the sheriff. And let's see if we can find a that's not a great sheriff picture, but it's gonna do for now. And we'll copy them. And anyway, I'm not gonna. I have a whole list of characters, but I'm not gonna update all of them right now. You guys get the gist. When you click on your main characters, you get these character profiles. I did want to show you this. You can also not only do the profile picture, but you can do a banner image. And let's just say library. And let's pick a good. So that now we save that, and now you've got it. It kind of looks like a social media profile with the profile picture, the banner image, information about them. And then you can always come back here and you can click on your main characters. And then you can also fill out your supporting characters. It works exactly the same as that does. Um, and then that's an easy place for you to go refer back to. If you're like, oh, what color was Nell's eyes? Ah, shoot, what? You come in here and you say, Nell has green eyes. And now, um, when you need to refer back to and find that character's eye color, you've got it listed right there. And then that saves you from someone reading your book and saying, well, that's funny that Nell had brown eyes for the first 4 chapters. And all of a sudden in chapter 8, she has green eyes. If you have a handy place to reference that, then you don't have to worry about these silly little things that reviewers like to be sticklers about. So, eye color or, maybe a character has a hobby that becomes important to the book. Well, in the beginning of the book, maybe she loves needlepoint, and Brooke, you're much more well versed in crafty stuff. Like what would be something that a non-observant person would confuse needlepoint with, but if someone who is like really into these types of arts would
Cross stitching.
Okay, perfect. So if it's something that's specific, write it down so you can refer back to it, because while it might not be important to some readers, there are some readers that are going to read that and it's going to kick them out of the story and they're just going like, it's unbelievable. How could you ever, and try
So
to
yeah, and Hank, we have a couple of questions that I want to pause
Yes.
for just for a second. And so the first one is, let me show this. Does clicking on characters show all the characters, both main and supporting? Yeah, right there.
Well, what it does is it gives you the 2 groupings, and then you can click on the grouping to go. So if you click on characters, it just shows you the groups. You can also add a new cat. These are your cast of characters. So you've got main characters, supporting characters. You could also have, you could have rename cast. You could have this, what would be, you could have antagonists if you wanted to group it that way. And then you could, create characters that would, so say you have a giant, cast of characters. You could get as granular with that as you want to. You can always put all of your characters like under main characters. There's nothing that says you can't group them all here, so that when you click this heading, all of them show up. You can totally do that. It just, if you've got a book that has 8 characters total, that's very easy to do. If you've got, a series like the Wheel of Time, and you've got something like 700 named characters, then it's very beneficial to be able to go in and granularly segment them so that it's easier to track, because the more characters you have, there might be some more housekeeping that needs to happen to keep that all straight. Any other questions?
Well, Katie has a suggestion.
Okay.
But I don't know if we want to talk about templates yet. Or am I giving away too much? Because I'm gonna to own that. Because I don't know what should be secret and what shouldn't, which kind of works out for you guys. But she talked about kind of like, as someone who always forgets eye color, hair color, I add them to the character name, so it ends up looking like Elenator blue, yellow.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we have created is the ability to upload templates. And character templates are something that we have been creating, which I don't know that we've necessarily showed yet. Has Doug showed those out yet?
I am not that familiar with. I'm familiar, but I'm not well versed in it yet. So
yeah. So one thing that we can do, and this might be another one, but there are some things that are coming. I will tell you that. But we also, for being like a Dabble user and being just active, we're going to be giving out some templates that you guys can download it into your own platform. And so there's a lot of exciting things coming from there. There might even be like genre specific templates. So we will definitely keep you posted. But kind of like Katie, to your point, how you always like do that type of naming mechanism, we also are working on some stuff to make even character development easier for you.
Yeah. And in the meantime, those little things like that help you to get a visual reference, that's the great thing about Dabble is you can use it any way that you want to. If that's a helpful thing for you, by all means, that's a great idea. And character templates that you can fill out that help you to sort, by visual reference and things like that, that's amazing as well. Use whichever tool benefits you and whichever is easier for you to navigate. That's yeah, but that's a great idea. The little visual reference there is, especially if that's a thing like I'm thinking I hardly ever reference like someone's eye color unless it like matters to the story. And maybe I'm just not a very visual person in that way. Like I ask my wife all the time, what color eyes does so and so have? I've never paid attention to their eyes, So, and that's a defect in me. I know. But yeah, that's a great idea to do that. Anything else?
So I've not seen any character templates yet in the countdown videos. Yeah, Angel, we didn't do anything with those just because we wanted to get through like some of the launches first. But also in exporting, can we now export chapters 3 through 9 or some such instead of just from chapter 1?
Let's see.
So I do know, so to answer your, well, Hank's looking that up. When you're sharing with a beta reader, or if you're sharing with like an editor or book coach, you can now select the specific chapters that you want to share with them. So it kind of controls a little bit. Some of you might not care what content is shared when, or like if you have beta readers and you only want to share a specific chapter. So we do have that ability. I'm just not sure from the export standpoint.
Why am I'm doing something wrong and I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm doing wrong. Hold on. I'm not getting the option to. Hold on, I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm doing something wrong and I'm not thinking clearly about what I'm not doing right about exporting, but I'll get back to you guys on that.
But I think you're doing it right because you're clicking on the specific chapter and just exporting that, right? That's what it almost looks like.
Yes. Okay, chapter. Thank you guys. So yes, you can I was having a brain cramp. So you could select chapters and you can say from chapter 3 to chapter 10 or whatever, and then export. And then that gives you, where you can name that and you can export that. And then you can send that file to whomever. But yes, you can absolutely do that. You can choose any range that you want to export. Also, let's see. Yeah. So that I had another brain cramp. Okay. If you could also share, and you can choose a beta reader, and you can share that as well. That way, if you want, instead of exporting, if you want to share from within Dabble that way. Okay, so back to overdue. Can you change the font color on sticky notes? My yellow sticky note has white lettering. So that's a good question. I have not played with sticky notes in this So if we, whoops, let's see. Hang on just a second. My computer is locked up. Hold on. Come out. Hello, hello. Ah. Okay. Let's see.
I just posed the question to the devs as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can or not. Now, you posted it to the devs.
Yeah.
How is a section different than a part? Do parts, chapters, etc., still only add at the end? So in the top, you've got you create a new section. So this would be like part two, and then a new part is like yeah, it puts it at the end. So sections contain scenes, parts contain chapters, right? So a part could be like if you have a 40 chapter book and you've got every 10 chapters as a new part. But then part one has chapters 1 through 10. And then section is a list of scenes that are within a chapter. So it's basically just an organizational structure. And then you can always convert parts to chapters and et cetera. So anything that anytime you do something, it can always be reverted to something else. So you're not locked into a particular structure. But chapters contain scenes. Yes, it can be a little confusing, but the options are there for however you and there are different types of books that are structured differently. So like you may have a typical fiction book that's chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Or then you might have a nonfiction book and it's broken into sections, which then have different parts in that, depending on how the information is structured. The basically, if you're writing novels, you're typically going to have a list of chapters, and then sometimes if you have like maybe a dual timeline book where you may have a couple of different parts in the book where there's a kind of a big time shift, you may break that up. For the most part, you're just going to have a list of chapters. That's the way 95% of books are just laid out. But if you have a need to structure differently, you have those options there. The devs, they sound like a very special group of wizards. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Just keep them fed, keep them happy. That's what we always say.
Listen to their rants.
Right.
I'm totally kidding. Oh man, don't tell Ryan I said that. I'll be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with our devs is you have to be careful how excited you are about new feature or new feature ideas. Don't share great ideas that you have with certain people because they'll just run off and just make it happen. And you're like, well, it was just an idea. I didn't mean for you to like take on this whole new project, but that's the brilliance of our devs. So let's see what next. So then I might start with we've got our characters. Plot points. Now, what I would typically do is I would come into my notebook and I would create a new note and I would call this plot ideas or some such. And I would have a list of, of plot points that I had thought out, but depending on these characters that I've created. And just kind of, it is a visual guide for how I see the story unfolding. Uh, what I've talked about a lot is the way I visualize stories a lot of times is kind of a road trip. So if you go from Los Angeles, California to New York, or like Maine, like the very tip of the Northeast US, there's a lot of different ways you can get there. But if you say, I'm going to leave Los Angeles and I'm going to drive over to Texas and kind of take that south route, and then from Texas, I'm going to turn north and I'm going to go up to Oklahoma. And then from Oklahoma, I'm going to go over to Missouri. And then, you can do that. Or you can go across the entire bottom of the United States, take I-20 all the way over to Atlanta, and then turn north and go that way. There's lots of different ways, but the way I like to do it is to kind of lay out several map points along the way. Like I'm going to go from from uh, from Los Angeles to Dallas to Missouri. First off, so I've got the big points that I know I'm going, but what happens between those points? There's still a lot of freedom and a lot of character development that can happen in those places, and I'm ultimately, I know where I'm going, so I have to get there. But what happens between there, there's plenty of room for the magic to happen. So that's how I think about it. But if you're more plot minded, you've got so we've got our delete some of these. So where I was playing around here. Say that I know this is going to be 15 chapters. I can come in here and just create these chapters. So there, we have chapters created for 15. In our plot grid, we have rows here for all of our 15 chapters. And we can say in chapter 1, we're going to call that Homecoming. And the scene notes for that are Nell arrives to run the library and prep the 120 gala. We meet the town and feel the tension over Preston's resort deal. So we can, for plot lines, we could create one for Nell, so we can track what's going on with Nell. And then we know that we're going to create a new plot line, and this one is going to be for Preston. And Preston is the body that we find dead. And then maybe we need to track the sheriff. And you can create other and then you create a plot line for red herrings, because this is a mystery and there needs to be lots of misdirection. So for this plot point, we're going to say Nell comes home, and we can explore Nell's divorce and her return to her hometown. And then Preston, maybe also in the first chapter, we call this enemies. And Preston has several enemies. Show him interacting with several people. I can't type today, and making enemies. So, and then the sheriff, we could say that he's casually patrolling, and maybe in the first chapter we want to show the sheriff, establishing his presence. So just that um, he's a member of the community, and you see him around. And then maybe the no red herrings in chapter 1 so far. So then chapter 2 is the public argument, and so for chapter 2 we will call that the public argument, and you've got at a pre-gala mixer, Cooper and Preston have a shouting match in front of everyone. Preston threatens to bury him. Nell steps between the two. So maybe there we determine the readers are automatically going to assume Cooper and Preston are at odds, but maybe that's not ultimately what the problem is. So we might place that under, golly, I can't type today. Maybe put that under red herring. And the sheriff watches the argument or whatever, And so you can just start kind of building out a list of things that you have in your mind that are going to happen, and fill in how these different aspects of your story, the details in it, so that as you're writing, and then when you come over to excuse me, yeah, so then you can refer back to your plot points, and you can view it as the plot grid. You can look at your individual scenes and read the character notes that you have put for each of those, and then you can always refer back to your characters and your world building documents and all of that as you go. So yeah, what do we got going on in the chat there, Brooke? I've got to get a sip of my drink.
You are completely fine. So we are just talking about the Dabble YouTube channel, and a lot of people are talking about just like how valuable it is, and I think we've got to do a better job of promoting all the content that is there, because some people didn't know that there was a whole 3.0 YouTube series. So we shared all of those videos with everybody. Yeah, and then Rachel, I know you had some questions about the different templates. I think that is one that is coming. And it should be something that's pretty soon. I might have spoken again. This is why they typically don't let me out from behind my nerd or out of my nerd corner. But templates are something that are coming, because what we want to be able to do is, let's say you guys are watching, I'm probably giving away too much. Let's say you guys are watching a YouTube video, and Abby and I are doing something on First Novel Problems where we're talking about doing character profiles, or we're setting up a grid, or if we're doing like a save the cat type thing. We're going to start giving away templates that you guys can import directly into Dabble, so you can work with us instead of trying to recreate everything from scratch. That's not helpful to anybody, and we're doing it anyway. So why wouldn't we just share it with you guys? So that's coming soon. So yeah, stay tuned. All I will say. And then one question is, Rob was asking, how can you center text? And I'm guessing he's a European by how he spelled center.
Yes. I'm not getting
Shannon, while you're looking at that, Shannon, that is the plan. I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Oh, that's true. Or Canadian. That's true. Where's Douglas to translate? I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Uh,
Not,
yes, you will be eventually able to share templates amongst yourselves. There's more coming, but I'm not going to give
I'm
away too
not getting my pop-up menu. I think I need to say something to the devs there. I'm not, my pop-up menu is not, it's like white on white there. So I need to, normally when you would center text, you would get the menu pop up there and it's an option. Hold on,
Are you in just default light?
yeah, I'm gonna try something real quick.
Yeah, maybe slow it and see if it appears.
I wonder if it's the way. No, yeah, I need to, I'm gonna screenshot this and send it to,
Here, I'll do it because I'm writing the ticket.
um,
Got it. Thank you, sir. You are good to keep going. Oh, okay. You did it already.
yeah,
Okay.
I had already grabbed a screenshot, so I was just gonna paste it in there real quick. But yeah, that should be fixed in just a minute. You should get a pop-up menu there that allows you to do that. Yeah. And get that out of the way. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to see the pop-up menu and some of the theme colors. Yeah, that's it's not going to be that way for long. I promise. All we have to let me reload real quick and see. There we go. Okay, so there's yeah, that's just the formatting there.
Devs are aware and they're already working on it.
Yes. Excellent. So yeah, if you go to your project settings though, and you go to appearance, that's where you can override your theme. So say I like dark azure, and I want this book to always default to dark azure, no matter what my global theme is set to. I can choose it there. You can go to formatting and you can choose your font style, the font size, the paragraph style, modified book style, modern style, whether it's double space, 1.5, or single space. Yeah, and those are your options there. There's not as many formatting options in Dabble because Dabble is primarily for writing your novel, not for packaging and publishing your novel. Let me just say that that could be something coming down the pipe in the future. You know, that while this is Dabble Writer, Dabble Publisher is a thing, could be a thing, shall we say. So yeah, if enough people find those features, find that those features would be helpful, yeah, that's something that you might see coming in the future. Also, the plot grid that we were filling out earlier, and I'm glad I refreshed it because it's now showing. When you're writing in, if you come into chapter 1 and you're writing in, those plot cards that we filled out show up here in your right sidebar, so that you don't have to. I mean, you can always refer back to your plot grid and kind of see the overall of what's going on. But if you're in the manuscript and you're writing chapter one, if you highlight plots over here on your right, it shows you those cards that you filled out. So you know what you already had thought out for chapter one. It's there. And you've got what needs to happen with Nell, what needs to happen with Preston, what needs to happen with the sheriff, and any red herrings that you have planned for the chapter. And it's just very easy to refer to right there. And then if you make notes as you're writing the scene, things that you need to refer back to later, you can open up a note card and go right at it there to add notes that you need to work on for later. And then let's see, I'm trying to think of if there was something else that I needed to show you guys. Oh, someone mentioned the timer earlier. That it's if you want to have a writing sprint of your own, however many minutes to track your writing, you can do that. But other folks are not as excited about that feature, and you can hit the little down arrow. It just clears it out of your way, so you don't have to look at it if you don't want to. And then writing goals is another thing. When you're starting a new book, go ahead and set how many words that you would like to write per day. It defaults to 1,700, and I think that probably comes from NaNoWriMo, where the number was 1,650 something. I can't remember what the exact word, but if you write that many words a day for a month, you'll come out with a 50,000 word novel. And you can mark off which days you're not going to write on. And that's a daily goal. You can set that and just click save goal when you're done. And then you can also add a goal for your project. Like say, I want to finish this book by the end of August, so August 31st. And I'm going to take Sundays off. I'm not going to write on Sundays. And then the deadline for this, I have a hard out on September 2nd. And then that just shows me target word count. I think the book's going to be 80,000 words. And then there we go. I've written 772 words of it so far, 72,228 remaining, and 51 days remaining. So just a handy thing. You can have that up as you're writing to the little kick in the pants to keep on track. All right, what do you guys think so far? That's mirror your timer to the one in the sprint. Yes. Wow, this has been a fast hour. Like Brooke mentioned earlier, please let us know these features that you want a little deep dive on, and we'll definitely make those videos for you to help with that. Brooke, do we? I guess we can. Folks can always go to Dabble U and post. We should probably create a thread where folks can go post their recommendations for videos they'd like to see, maybe.
Yeah. So what I will do is, if you guys aren't a member of or if you're not a member of the community, now the community is 100% free to join. It is something that anybody can get access to. You don't even have to fill out your information if you don't want to. But I will create. Actually, I am in the community right now. You do not want that. So let me click here. I will create a link. How about I do this?
Okay.
I don't have a picture. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this so that everybody can see it. Yeah, so here's just let's just do this. Let's just go to the community and I will post it there as soon as it's done.
Okay.
Or as soon as it's ready to go, because I want to make sure. So here's a link to the community. There you go. You join, and then you guys can just keep an eye out for that. I know most of you, like Bernadette, and you're already in there, and so we have that information. But yeah, we'll post it there, and then you guys can just share and give us any information that you would like about which videos you want to see. You can also comment after this live is over, and we will get all of those comments as well. But or you can tag us in social. So I am the one that sees all of it today, especially since Abby is out. So yeah, I will make that right after the live.
Yeah, and we really want to hear from you guys. If there's something that you want from us, we are here to make that happen for you. So glad that you joined us all, and super happy that you're excited about Dabble 3. We're excited for it for us, and we're super excited for it for you guys to. We hope that this gets you one step closer to making your dreams of writing and publishing a novel happen. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Brooke, for.
Hey, real quick, are you this week for the coffee hour, or am I this week for the coffee hour? I know it's Hank or I will be taking over them. So.
That's a very good question. I think I'm this week. I think.
Wonderful.
We'll work it out behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm taking 1 week. Brooke's taking. I think it's me this week, and so I'll see you guys tomorrow for sprints, and Wednesday for coffee hour, and then Doug will have sprints on Thursday, and yeah, if it's Hank, we will have fun. Yes, we will.
Yep.
No, I'm not gonna fight Brooke. Jeez.
If anything, we both join. So.
Yeah. Right. Thanks, everybody. See you around.
Bye.